Thanks again for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Well, Lagos is preparing to host the 18th edition of the prestigious Culturati Festival, and this year's theme is Freedom Edition, and it's holding at the iconic Freedom Park on Lagos Island. Culturati, Africa's leading cultural fusion platform, goes beyond entertainment by empowering the youth through its academy, which has trained more than 10,000 individuals in creative and digital skills. So this year's festival will also launch the Culturati Community Library, which is aimed at promoting literacy and cultural education. The festival will kick off with an exclusive trade fair featuring more than 100 SMEs from the crafts, the arts and tourism, as well as the creative sectors. This initiative is seeking to boost Lagos' economy, provide viability for businesses, and foster collaborations with investors and dignitaries. Well, we have with us in the studio now Adetola Bakinson. She's the CEO of Culturati, and we're glad to have you join us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
18 years. Wow, you deserve a pat at the back, you and your team. But tell us how it's been over the years and what you aim to achieve this year.
Oh, okay. I always call Culturati a teenager now because, Culturati started like a small event, CCOG, Pride of Africa. And in 2019, it was rebranded to Culturati because we wanted something that would eventually take us globally, and that's what's happening now. This year is very interesting because it's the first time we're having an exclusive trade fair with over 100 small to medium-sized businesses showcasing their goods. And as you know, the most important thing for any business is visibility. It's visibility and networking. And then another thing, because I'm not just the CEO of Culturati, I sit in the technology space as a thought leader and an SME. And in the creative space, I'm an award-winning poet across Africa. So I'm very passionate about the cultural library, the preservation of our history and heritage that we're starting this year. We also have the talent hunt as well on the day 2 of the Culturati Festival, where we are able to showcase different talents, and the first 5 people will win some sort of prize. So this year, we're trying to attract global visibility. We want to take it beyond Lagos State.
Interesting stuff. So, because you said you mentioned talent hunts, I was wondering the place of youth in all of this, because we have youth are just there everywhere, even globally. So, who are your target audience? Are they the youth, or maybe anyone of any age?
It's Culturati is about youth empowerment. So the focus, really honestly, is the youth when it comes to talent hunt. I don't think a 50-year-old wants to come and showcase any dance or anything.
Well, it's possible, since we have 90-year-old bagging, BScs.
Oh, well, from the educational sector, yes, but I really don't think I would.
Your experience, it's usually saturated by the youth?
By the youth, but everyone is welcome. But with all the entries that we've gotten, it's really the youth that have entered for the talent hunt.
All right, so talk to us about, this year's theme. You've spoken about, you said there's a trade fair. It's kicking off with a trade fair.
For 3 days.
For 3 days. And, what else, can people expect? How is this year standing out, from the previous editions?
So it's the trade fair, it's the cultural library, it's the talent hunt, and it's the Taste of Africa in Lagos.
Okay, so cuisine, you're talking
yes,
about
yeah. So it's not going to be limited to Nigerian food. We're going to have Senegalese jollof, Ghana jollof, where people come in and have that taste of what it is to eat African food.
Okay, and talking about this library, what exactly is your desire? You've spoken about you having so much knowledge. You've grown over the years. The Culturati idea too has, grown and shaped off over the years. But why do you think this cultural library is needed at this time?
I'm very big on literature, and I believe that education is the key to emancipation. And I'm very big on advocacy for literacy. I believe that the Gen Zs, they have lost, there's nobody telling the story to them. I grew up with storytelling about my pedigree, about where I come from, and all of those things. So it's part of the empowerment thing where we preserve the culture that we have, and we take the past into the present for the future. So right now, uplifting Freedom Park, for example, is one of it. It makes people think about what Freedom Park is. And I've said it in many interviews. I know about Freedom Park. It was a prison and all of that. But now that we using Freedom Park for Culturati, it made me research more about Freedom Park. And so for me, I believe that it's very important that we have the library to educate people about our culture. And if you look at many other countries, I mean, I live in South Africa, and South Africa is very big on cultural preservation. When I went to Angola, the same thing, they are very big on cultural preservation. So it's nice, and wherever I go, I export culture. In Angola, I said, a Carol, because I wanted them to know that I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. You see what I'm saying? So book reading and literacy, it's very important, and we want to bring back that culture through Culturati.
So I wanted to expatiate further on that, the issue of the concept of culture, because I'm wondering, when you mentioned Gen Z, and you said Gen Z are not exactly maybe portraying the kind of culture that we have specifically in Nigeria as a whole, or is it about Southwest?
No, it's just generally.
Just generally, okay, regardless of whether it is Nigerian.
No, it's not a Nigerian thing.
So I'm wondering the disconnect, between the Gen Z and the old, and what you're trying to bridge. For instance, we read about the story, we discussed the story of a youth corps member who was assaulted in Kwara State, and then the teacher got demoted as a result of not maybe respecting her or something, and it resulted to assault. So what do you think the Gen Zs are not getting correctly when it comes to understanding the African culture, so to speak? Education.
Nobody. I mean, the African culture, we have the alo, the folklore, all of those things. We don't have that anymore. Nobody is telling the story of Africa anymore. Nobody is doing any of those things. And
social media is taking over everything.
Yes, I was going to say everything that the Gen Zs are getting is they're feeding off social media, and I don't see social media really showcasing culture in the way. Yes, I like modernization, you know what I'm saying, we're transforming, we don't still have to be in the past, but we should never forget our root, where we come from. So I believe that if we can start telling stories, if I look at it, and I'm going to say it again, in poetry, when I go to other countries, you see them doing, I know there are people that do poetry in Yoruba, Pidgin and all of that, but it's not very rampant like other countries. Like sometimes I sit there and I don't hear one word, because all they're doing is they are very big on their cultural heritage,
their language.
On their language. I will tell you something again. In South Africa, the first language is their mother tongue. As opposed to my first language reflects. My first language is English. I learned to speak English first. I speak Yoruba very well, and we used to get punished for speaking Yoruba when it's not Yoruba time in school. And even I could thank you very much, and it shouldn't be that. So we need to bring back that first. You start with the language.
Okay, and so in terms of, is there hope, or is how big a course is this, or what are the deliverables for you? Because you've spoken about your experience in Angola, in South Africa. Bringing this on board in terms of your takeaways, how did that grow, or how did that get enhanced in these countries? You've spoken about the government or so, giving this a place, so it's in your face. But now that you want to take this upon yourself, what is the feedback like for you here in Nigeria?
Well, I believe that there's a lot of work to be done next year. The year is already over. And I'm very excited about all the mini projects that I'm creating in my head. That majorly it's going to be centered around promoting diversity. So it's not just about culture.
That's right.
Diversity is that thing that makes you different from me. So it's about bringing everybody together to celebrate the beauty and diversity. I want to know about your culture. I want to know about your culture. I want you to know about mine. And we can use that as a form of empowerment going forward. So my takeaway, honestly, is we have a lot of work to do.
Interesting. So after 18 successful editions, Culturati continues to grow. So I'm wondering what strategies have sustained, this phenomenal festival success and are there plans to expand beyond Lagos and Nigeria?
Well, like I said in the beginning, I would like to take Culturati to a global level. I'll take, for instance, the guests coming, some of them are consulars from different countries, where we can start having partnership with them, you know, in form of exchange program, in form of training. I said again, because I'm in the technology space, it's, you know, technology is innovation, right, and culture is creativity. And both of them is a world of endless possibility. So it's about fusing the two together. Yesterday when I was speaking, how have we been able to grow? It's because we've had support of many partners, including the Lagos State government, which we are very grateful for their support, and the Ministry of Art and Tourism. So we've done a lot of programs to empower the youth. And for sustainable growth now, what we plan to do is, and I said it to my team, we need to start looking at collecting data. You know, we collect the data, that becomes historic data, so that we can make proper predictive analysis on how to take it forward. So a lot of digitalization will be happening in the years to come. It will no longer be a manual thing. We want to automate our process and streamline and see how we can take this forward to a global stage. So I'm very much interested in partnering with countries out there. We're starting from South Africa because I live there. Yeah.
Oh, all right. And okay, so that's the plan for next year. But still on, you know, the other leg of Ibrahim's question, and I take it that this is Lagos, but in terms of how the events over the years have also enhanced diversity, you know, beyond, you know, the culture, the peculiar culture of Lagos, how has, you know, Culturati also, you know, gotten some more of, you know, the beauties, the diverse beauties in our culture here in Nigeria? How well have other cultures, you know, interfaced with Culturati?
Well, like I said earlier, we're very big in partnership, and even the Taste of Africa, we're not just cooking food from Lagos, it's all over. And we're going to have some Chinese dance. We're going to have different people coming in for Culturati. So majorly, it's about partnership with other people, not just in Lagos, but not just in Nigeria, rather, but other countries as well. Okay. And that's how we've been able to come together to bring it together.
Interesting. So, you know, as a CEO, you're big on tech, big on arts, and all of this. So how if you talk about the cultural industries, how they influence your vision and majorly, you know, for cultural stuff that you do? Okay. Talking about you as a CEO,
yes,
wondering how your experience in tech, arts, and cultural, you know, industries, you know, influence your vision for Culturati.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm very happy because, like I said, you know, when you're in technology, it's a world of endless possibility.
Yeah, that's right.
And now we live in the world of AI, machine learning, and all of that. So it's about taking the innovation and marrying it with creativity to have a boomerang at the end of the day. So for me, being a poet, you know, storytelling has always been part of my life. Literature has always been part of my life. And to be in technology as well, you know, there are many tools that can be used to enhance whatever it is. I mean, if you look at your phone, there's a tool for everything that you want to do. So me being a CEO in the tech and art space, somebody said it's conflicting, and I said, no, it's not conflicting. In technology, there's a lot of creativity. You know, you have to be creative. You have to productize everything that you are doing. So that is going to help me, and in terms of seeking partnership, using my credibility as a leverage for Culturati as well.
That's right. That's right.
Right, and so weathering the storms over the years, and now that you are 18, well, at least Culturati is 18 years old. Right. 18. All right.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16 and endless. But in terms of the lessons that you have learned, or rather weathering the challenges that came your way in putting this together and staying on it, tell us how you were able to handle all the storms, all the challenges, all the issues that arose, you know, at a time, and how that has also shaped Culturati at 18.
Okay. Well, my experience in the corporate has helped to be able to identify risks and to be able to mitigate them before they become risks. So I believe that most of the thing that you need actually is having a strong team.
That's right.
Yes, so for Culturati, it's a family. My team is a family, and what we do is we fall together or we stand together. So whatever it is that comes, most of the challenges that we face, you know, for every product or for every initiative, Culturati, I keep saying, is not a festival. It's an initiative, it's a movement, it's a legacy. It's finance, it's funding to be able to put out all of these initiatives. And I'll give you an example when we trained over 10,000 people at the Culturati Academy. I mean, money doesn't fall from the sky. You know, we need people to sponsor, to support us. So, but what we do is we do what we have to do. We keep going out, we go big, and we just have to. This year, we've also faced challenges as well in terms of getting people for sponsorship, but at the end of the day, you know, putting out the value proposition is also very important. And when I came in, I started putting out the value proposition to say, before you ask people to give you something, you need to let them know what they're getting for it. So we changed the face of how we were expressing ourselves in terms of bringing people in. And unsolicited, we started getting people saying that, you know what, we would like to partner with you. And that's why I keep referring to next year, because it's going to be very, very, you know, interesting.
But then, in the meantime, so what are the, how, if I want to participate, how do I, you know, be a member, not just a member, a participant, really,
right.
you know, maybe to attend this beautiful festival? How do people get there?
It's at Freedom Park. We've sent out...
It's free?
Free entry?
It's not free.
Okay.
It's strictly by invitation. We're not charging for it, but it's strictly by invitation. Or we also have a guest list. So remember that the Freedom Park is not so big, and the reason why we chose the Freedom Park is the story of resilience and renewal. You know, we want people to know about that place. We want to also showcase it as a tourist attraction for people coming outside of Nigeria and people in Nigeria as well. So because of the limited space, we have limited guests, but we will still have a lot of
security.
There's more than adequate security, because we have government officials that will be attending. We have the consular, we have the royal fathers attending as well. So, and we also have to protect the SMEs with their goods and all of that. So there's more than adequate security.
And of course, one would reckon that there would be an opportunity to reckon. So if you aren't invited to on-site, you know, like to the physical venue, someone interested watching now could also have an opportunity or an avenue to engage with you or your team afterwards online, I guess.
That's right, and it will be filming live as well. So it will be live as well at Culturati_NG. On Instagram.
Fantastic.
On Instagram?
Yes.
On Instagram. All right, Adetola Bakinson, CEO, Culturati, thank you for joining us, and we hope for a great output from this year's edition.
Thank you very much for having me.
So much for